And what's up, everybody? I'm Glenn from the Six Digit Club podcast. And how would you define success in your microblading business? Well, we're going to get to that question, and we're going to help you answer that question with Alba Cruz, who's with us today. So stay tuned, and we're going to get started. Would you like to achieve six figures from your microblading and permanent makeup services? Well, let me welcome you to the Six Digit Club podcast, where we deliver to you actionable strategies, inspiration, and a little humor along the way. We want to help you to join a growing list of microblading and permanent makeup artists who have become members of the exclusive Six Digit Club. And what's up, everybody? So welcome to the Six Digit Club podcast. I have a very special guest this week, and it is Alba Cruz. Alba Cruz is here. Say what's up, Alba.
Hi, everybody. How are you today?
All right. So Alba is going to join me. I'm sorry?
I said, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. So today we're going to have a very powerful conversation about how do you define success? Now, this is a conversation that you probably don't have very often. And it's an important one to have, because if you haven't, Alba, seriously, let's think about this for a second. If you haven't defined what success means to you, how do you kind of know how to navigate in your life? Forget about just the microblading business and the permanent makeup business. How do you know how to navigate in your life if you're not clear on what you're aiming for, what you're trying to get to? So that's what I mean when I say, what does success mean to you? Now, before we get into this conversation, just real quick, if you want to follow Alba, she is an amazingly successful microblading artist and business owner. She has achieved incredible things. Her Instagram is Smile for Life Spa. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's all one word, Smile for Life Spa on Instagram. Check her out, follow her, give her some love. And if you get value from this Six Digit Club podcast that we're going to share with you today, if this is helpful for you in any way, please like this podcast. Comment what defines success for you. Any comment that is helpful for you or would be something that would help move the conversation forward, that would be great. And if you feel so inclined, go ahead and share it. Sound good, Alba? Is that a good idea?
Perfect. Yes.
Alba is also a royal artist and a Six Digit Club member, and she's a superstar in her own right. So we're going to talk about what success means to Alba. Alba, would you start us off? What does success mean to you? When I just asked you the question.
Success is a big word for everybody, I would say, and it's hard to actually to explain it or to approach it. What does the word means? For me, I think I've noticed for the past few months is that you have to be happy with yourself. I know we have a lot of up and downs out there. And when we do our work, it's just like, sometimes like, oh my gosh, she does better than me. They do better than me. Not only about work, but also personal life and family life and all that stuff. Successful for me, it means that you have to be happy with yourself, not just physical, but also mentally. Mentally is very important, because if you're not mentally happy with yourself, all your work that you do, not just how you treat people, if you're not honest with them, how can people going to trust you? How are your clients going to trust you? So you have to be honest with yourself, not only honest mentally, that you're happy. If you're happy, if you're doing a type of marketing or greeting people, the people's going to know that you're happy. So your work stand out, your personality stand out. So when people see that, guess what? They cannot trust you. And if you're an outgoing person, they're going to trust you. If you're a grudgy person, they're not going to trust you. Why? Because you're actually not in a place that you want to be successful. You have to actually be happy with yourself, mentally and physically. I think the physical part is very important, because if you feel healthy with yourself, guess what? Your mentality is healthy.
So wait. When you say, okay, so let's break that down. I want to try to get a little bit specific on this. So you say being happy with yourself is part of your definition of success, right? Or is that is that the whole definition of success, or is that part of it?
That's the whole definition, because think about it. If you're not happy with yourself, your work is not going to stand out. Not just your work, but also your personal life. Your personal life is not going to be happy if you're not happy with yourself.
So what does that mean to be happy with yourself? What does it mean?
Which means people feels a lot of distress or stress or depressed. You gotta actually find help to actually treat yourself, which means mentally. Physically is more like take care of yourself, because sometimes people worry about more about physical than being actually the looks. Looks is very important for everybody. Like, you want to feel healthy for yourself. You want to get up in the morning. It doesn't mean that you're not stressed, So a good workout, I think that's the key to work out or feel healthy for yourself. That's gonna do the key to actually brings happiness, not just around you, but to other clients, to people around you. I don't know if it makes sense.
Well, sure, it does make sense. I want to sort of, I think in a very linear fashion, and I think in like the way that my brain works, I think almost like a hierarchy structure. So I like to think from the top down, like what do I define as success from the top level, and then I want to drill into the specific areas of my life. So if you were to say in your business life, or your career, if you will, that's one specific area of your life, but there's other areas of your life. There's your family life. There's your physical health and fitness. There's your spiritual life. There's your finances. So if you were to define these different areas and what success means in each of those areas, you might define it more specifically, and it all sort of summarizes at a higher level. So let's start with regard to your business. Okay. What does it mean to you to be successful in your business? Like right now, are you successful in your business?
Yes, I am.
How do you know that? How do
I am? Because I'm happy with what I am right now, which physically, let's go back a little bit, just a little short memory. Past couple of months ago, I was not happy with myself, which means physically, personal, and all that stuff. And I felt my business was going very slow. Not only that, I didn't see that much people coming in, or people had started noticing that I wasn't happy. Mm-hmm. So and I think the key, I've noticed that back then, I'm like, what I was thinking, now that I'm seeing myself, that I'm happy where I am, not just because of mentally and physically, but spiritual. Like, I feel like it's so completely different. Like, people have seen me, Alba, you look so happy this time. Alba, your work looks amazing. You post more. You post videos, like your pictures, you look more happy. Mm-hmm. We like that about you. And people asking, how do you do it? You're a single mom, you have a business. I know there's a lot going in your head, but how do you do it? We take it differently. Successfully is actually try to put in your mind, okay, I have to change my habit of living, because anything that I do personally, it can affect me as my business. Mm-hmm. So I think be honest with people is one of the best things. Honest with yourself, accepting your mistakes.
Okay, but hold on a second. Before you give me like guidance and advice, I want to understand, how do you know that you're successful in your business? How do you know?
I think the word to that, how I know, is because I'm more happy this time.
So because right now your business, financially speaking, is very successful. You have a lot of customers coming in. You're delivering great results for your customers. You have staff that are working. You're providing employment. You're making great money. Do those things factor into your mind when you define success? Like, my business is going successfully, or is it just, how do I feel?
Is going successfully because actually I have achieved those goals that bringing people in, and mm-hmm. Increases the value of customers. And then I'm saying, okay, my business is doing very good because of how my work is being playing out. Mm-hmm. That's how I see it. I see it that bringing people more and having people to work with me is the mm-hmm. best thing. Like, okay, my business have improved a lot just because I'm doing something good about this.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to grow your business from where you are, or are you satisfied with where your business is?
No, I'm the kind of person that I get bored just one thing. I have to keep running and running for something mm-hmm. different. So mm-hmm. it's just not one thing. I'm bringing on new service. Like this year, I'm bringing a new service. And this year, I already accomplished one of my big goals that I've been wanting to accomplish for the past 2 years. And then now I'm bringing a new service, which I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. So what I hear from you is it sounds like a big part of how you not just define success, but like when you're thinking about it, you're seeing success from a very, like, I would call it like a holistic perspective, like a very holistic, meaning like if you're feeling good, it spreads in that feeling good spreads into all the different areas of your life. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes.
And if you're feeling good inside about yourself, about what you're doing, then you become better at all the things that you're committed to. Because I know you're a very committed person. Like if you're going to do something, you really, really do it. And that's a big part of like who you are and how you operate. I don't know. Is that part of like your definition of success? Does that have anything to do with like how you apply yourself?
Perfect. That way you describe it, that's the way I'm trying to explain it.
Like in other words, your commitment to something.
Yes, I'm a person that I like to commit to something and like to finish it.
So if you committed to something and you didn't finish it, or you didn't achieve the results that you're aiming for, if you introduce a new service and it's not well received, are you unsuccessful?
No, I'm continue. I'm trying to. Let's call it. If I don't try to achieve. If I have tried to achieve this goal and I haven't achieved it, yeah, you get frustrated, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be unsuccessful. I'm going to try something different to get my mind to not to be stressing out. And then I try to go with the circle again and go back what I'm trying to finish. Mm-hmm. So basically it helps me to try something different so I can get my mind off of it. I don't stress out too much. And then I try to go back on it once my mind's already calm down for that situation. Because when you concentrate yourself and doing this and doing it and you cannot achieve it, it overwhelms you. Not only that, mentally messed you up. And you're like, okay, forget about this. And then if it just stop in the point, you continue frustrating yourself, guess what? Everything else around you, that little circle is going to frustrate. Everybody's going to start seeing that you look frustrated. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I try to jump to a different solution so I can take my mind off of it. And then when I feel that I'm more calm, I try to go back and refresh what I was trying to finish.
But you don't quit. You don't quit. You try a different way to get to the same outcome.
Yes. I don't quit. Okay. I'm not a quitter. I'm a quitter in that moment for me to relax again, to mm-hmm. feel like I'm not too stressful about a situation. So I try mm-hmm. to find something different. So once I've finished with that, the other part that I'm trying to finish, I just let myself to come down and go back again.
Okay, but if you never achieve the goal, let's say you tried 4 or 5 different ways and you decide, you know what, this is not happening for me. And you know what, I've spent too much effort on this. I think I want to try spending my time on something different. Would you consider yourself unsuccessful?
On that point of view, no, not really, because I would say it wasn't for me.
Alva, you are so resilient. You know, I'm trying to pin you down on this, and I'm so glad to hear your response. No, seriously, I'm really glad to hear that response because you're demonstrating your mindset is a success mindset in the sense that
I don't have the word unsuccessful. There's no meaning for me. I cannot accept that word. You cannot accept that. You gotta keep going and going, no matter what. If it takes you freaking 3 years, 5 years, it took me 2 years to achieve something that I wanted. And guess what? I didn't give up. 2 years, and that's like what? That's a long time to give up on something. But I didn't give up, and I still did it. And guess what? And I accomplished it. It's better to be late than never. That's my word for to be unsuccessful on something and you're gonna quit. Don't never be a quitter. I'm not gonna be a quitter. Mm-hmm. There's no a word in my mind that are you gonna be a quitter? No, there's no quits for me. I cannot quit. And that my point to this is that don't quit. I know people's gonna get frustrated. I know a lot of people get frustrated in different part of life. But guess what? If you try to achieve that, you're gonna feel like, oh my God, I did it. I know it was late, but I did it. And the feeling of that feeling, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. For microbladers, like, I know it's hard out there. A lot of people that are trying to achieve royals is, yes, it's a lot of headache. It's a headache, it's stressful, and then you're like, okay, I'm quitting. It's a lot of time you do that. But guess what? If you continue doing it, you're going to get there. The word is you. If how hard do you want it? How much do you want it?
Right. So Alba, thank you for that. That's a very powerful mindset. And I could see why you're so successful from a monetary and a career, from a traditional standpoint, what people would think like, wow, she's got a big business. She makes a lot of money. She has a lot of clients. She's got a big following. Like from that standpoint, I could see what makes you so successful. It's because you're relentless and you just keep moving forward and you're not thinking in terms of, oh, I'm failing at this, or, oh, I can't get it. You know what? I quit there. You're just looking like, I'm not getting in this way. Even if, whether you're frustrated or not, if you're frustrated, you let go of it for a minute and then you come back and try a different door. Let me see if I can get in this door, and this isn't working. That's frustrating, but let me try to get in this door. And you keep trying to get in until you finally penetrate and you get in.
It's like a multitasking. You're multitasking different things. You got to learn how to multitask and deal with it and just try to go back on it. I mean, I have learned since I've been a business owner that there's a lot of frustrations, depressions, a lot of things that you think like, oh my God, that's just too much.
Ups and downs, big ups and downs.
Yes.
You're going to be in your own business for sure.
And then you think you cannot do it, but guess what? You can do it. Anybody can do it. I mean, it's just, you have to put it in your mind, put a little note, I can do it.
Right.
That's the way I do it. I just try not to give up.
But you're a very strong woman, first of all. And I know being in business in general, it really tests your character because you'll find yourself, I found ourselves, oh my God, this academy that I'm in right now, like our physical academy, I'll never forget the day that the truck showed up. It was like I think it was like a 60-foot truck filled with our furniture that had come from Europe. And we had like 2 hours to empty it. And they opened the truck. It had no, it was not like a lift gate. You know what I mean? Like the back of it, like you could put stuff out and it goes down and then you could take it off easily. None of it fit in the elevator. There was no lift gate. All the furniture was like literally built into the sides of the container, like with screws and wood to make sure it's secure, because a lot of the stuff that we have here, like this and all this stuff that we have around here is very delicate and it's heavy and it's glass and things. And so we opened that thing and I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, this was like, as far as my eyes could see, this whole entire container was filled and we had 2 hours to unload it. And it's impossible. Forget about 2 hours. It ended up taking us, like, I had a little drill in my hand. I didn't know what I was going to be dealing with. I had 2 people with me and a drill. And it was like emergency time. So long story short, called my brother, called my dad, called everybody I knew to everyone descended on that place. And we scrambled and we figured out a solution. And it literally took about 12 people all day long until like 6 p.m., including the driver. Thank God he helped us. But we literally had to dismantle all this stuff, take it off, carry it upstairs, put it in here. It was unbelievable. And I'll never forget it. I wasn't even planning on telling you this, but it's one thing that reminded me of a day when I thought, there's no way that this is going to happen. I don't see how it's physically possible that we could get everything that's in this container upstairs and into this place. I couldn't imagine it. But we just had to do it. There's no choice. And we had to get to work. And so we worked and people were bringing us drinks and Gatorade and people were coming out with food and just trying to help us. And we made it. And so business will test your character and you'll find out who you are. But if you're going to face that kind of a day or days like anybody who's watching this might be facing, and you allow the possibility of, you know what, I can't do this. I quit. You know what? I give up. If you allow that into your head, then I mean, there's
no hope.
Yeah, no, you've got to be.
You got.
And so so anyway, as far as defining success, I guess we're talking about one subject, which is realizing that you can go a lot further than you think you can. you can go a lot further. And you're never going to know that until you find yourself in a situation, and business will do that to you. This career could do that to you. And all of a sudden you find yourself where in a position where you can't quit. If you quit, it would be so catastrophic that you just can't quit. And so you learn about yourself that you can go a lot further than you think. But as far as the success mindset, wow, I want to come back to this for a second, because I see success like in several different areas of my life. And I used to be really technical about it. I went through the whole Tony Robbins and all of that kind of, you know what Tony Robbins is?
Sounds familiar.
He's like a personal development coach, and he does these seminars all over the country. And I follow lots of gurus like that who are, give you insights in how to improve your life, whatever. So I used to do a lot of this. And so I want to show you something that I did. Let me share my screen for a second. Check this out. Here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So you see this thing called Quality of Life Quantifier? I made this up. This is like more than maybe 12, 15 years ago, I made this up. And what this is this is like my vision for each of the categories of my life for the year. Okay. And so each year I do a new one. And you could get crazy about this and try to make all, this is like a description of what this area of my life is. So for example, one category of life is being peaceful and connected. And so my description for my vision, in other words, if I'm experiencing being at peace, regardless of the current status of the external world around me, if I'm experiencing that, then I'm being successful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That success is not something that's out in front of me. Like if I achieve it, then I'm successful. No. Success means that if I'm experiencing being peaceful and connected, regardless of the status of what's happening around me, that would mean that I'm being successful. Not I achieved success, I didn't get success, I'm being successful. Okay. So then there's I defined it in a couple of different ways. So then there's my family, Angelica, my wife, and my two kids, Ethan, my older son, and Jet, my younger son. So for example, with Angelica, enjoying each other, supporting each other. This experience is, if I'm experiencing that, if we're enjoying each other, so that's success to me. That's experiencing success. Because I know when we're not enjoying each other, or when she's not enjoying me, I know for sure that's definitely not success, because it sucks. But with my kids, for example, just knowing that my kids are developing right, that they're developing into respectful young boys that care about one another, that love each other, that look out for one another, that care about people around them, that are learning to develop this life skills, discipline, working towards something, these types of things that they're going to need to be successful in their lives. That is success to me. I put here magic moments. I call magic moments those moments when it's just like almost like a spiritual moment where something magical has happened and you feel like so connected to God or to the universe or to the nature or to someone who's special that's near you. And you just feel like, wow, you're like overwhelmed with emotion. And you almost you could take a snapshot of it in your mind. Like when you saw your daughter singing, or when you saw her do something, or you're just with her by just the two of you, and you're somewhere and it's just the two of you. And it's like, it almost feels like secret time. Like the whole world has stopped and it's just the two. Those are the magic moments that right.
Yes. I know what you're saying.
All right. So
the best feeling ever.
Yeah. So that's success to me. Experiencing as many magic moments as possible. Quality time with my family, which right now, honestly, it's challenging to do. But what I'm working on, I'm working towards it. Like I work a lot of hours. It's after business hours right now. And I'm continuing to work. And I'm doing this because it's also part of something else that defines success for me, which is having and building the most successful microblading academy in the world. That's part of my vision. And to define what that is even more specifically is a business that I'm proud of, a business that is successful, meaning it's profitable, right? If it's profitable, doing things that are the right things that positively impact people's lives, that make a difference, something that's meaningful, where I'm not just trying to, churn my customers and make money, because I have no interest in that. That's meaningless to me. I want to do something that's meaningful. Right, Alba? What you do is meaningful,
yeah.
Right?
It's meaningful because all what you do is give the smile that client wants. I mean, I have turned out so many people that are like, no, I can't do it. It's not about the money. It's about the personal touch you can get with this client. Mm-hmm. That actually they're understanding, like, oh, she is a very honest person. I think success is about honesty.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that I like to tell people, you gotta be honest. When we have the students for Microblader, the academy, and I go, you gotta be honest with the client. They just don't do it just because of the money, because the money come and goes. But you know what? It doesn't. I mean, clients is referrals. If you're honest with this client, they're gonna keep coming back, and those referrals keep coming back. Guess what? Because you've been honest.
Yes.
If you're not honest, you're not gonna go nowhere. That's the biggest things I got. Like, you have to be honest with everybody and be a good person, because everything goes back around. And guess what? You end up losing everything, because if you do everything wrong, I mean, you're not going to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. You have to be a good person.
Yeah.
Not business, but also with your people around you,
Yes. It's interesting because sometimes we almost become like, we play a role in different areas of our lives. It's almost like, you're going to try to sell microblading services. You're sitting down for a consultation. Are you really being yourself at that moment? Are you talking to this person the same way you would talk to a friend that might be there, who is asking you, just like a real friend who's just asking you about microblading services or about permanent makeup? And are you talking with this prospective customer in the same way that you would really talk with your friend? Are you being sincere? Are you being genuine? Are you being yourself? Mm-hmm. Are you treating them the same way that you would want your best friend to treat you if you were asking them about buying a house, if they're a realtor, and you trust them and they're not going to screw you over and they're going to tell you, how to do this properly? So this all plays into what we're talking about, and being. So I guess you could kind of see like a consistent thread for me through each of these different areas of my life. Like I want to do things the right way. When I say the right way, it's the right way for me. It's not the right way necessarily for Alba or for Jennifer or Bobby or this one or that one, whoever's watching. It's the right way for me. And the right way for me is to feel I'm trying my best to, like, I have this reminder that goes off on my phone, for example, 4 times a day, and it says 20 breaths. Like this, Alba.
I just did it right now.
Yes. 20 of those.
It's
20
very important.
20
Inhale,
of those.
exhale. Yes.
Just 20 like cleansing breaths. And I'm getting better at it because these now sometimes I pause the reminder. 5 minutes later, ding, 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 20 breaths. Pause. I'm busy, phone. I'm busy. Don't you see I'm working on something here? Leave me alone. Pause. And I go to keep working. And then, but at some point, I don't dismiss the thing because I have to do the breaths. But those
because you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to go crazy. That's mentally. That's the more important. Successful is to learn to control your emotions, not your emotions, but you relax. The past few months, I have learned to relax. I have learned to take a breathe, breathe in and out, or do some yoga or meditation. I do meditation. I love it. Mm-hmm. When I feel like I have a horrible day, or thank God, I mean, I really have those where clients be like, "Hi, Alba, my eyebrow. Hi, Alba, this is my stain." It's okay. And when I have those, they question you, like, it's okay. I've learned to calm down myself. That's one of the parts that I've been successful, that I have learned to be patient. Okay, I have learned to be patient. You gotta learn to be patient. If you're not patient enough in any type of business, you're gonna lose it. Not only just lose it, everything it's gonna go like down the drain. And you be like, okay, I'm losing it, and they're gonna start reacting. Okay, she's have a bad attitude. I don't think I want to go with her, or I don't think I can deal with her. So you don't want to do that. Meditation and like what he's saying, breathe in and breathe out a couple times of the day, and that's going to help you a lot. So that's one of my big successful that I have learned a lot the past few months, that you got to relax.
You got to control your emotions and
yes.
And so oftentimes controlling your emotions requires seeing a bigger picture. I call it like, you know how like on your camera, you can zoom in or you can zoom out. Okay.
Yes.
So think of it in terms of zooming in and zooming out. When you're a very young child, like my younger son, Jed, he's coming up on 5 years old. The world is very small to him. And the things that are right in front of him are what's meaningful to him. He doesn't know about my business. He doesn't know about, making money to provide for the things that he eats, that he does, the school that he goes to, the extracurricular activities, and he doesn't know about any of those things. So the things that happen that are either in his mind, in his ego, good or bad, are right in front of him. And so, for example, he might be, watching some show. He watches Pat and Jen. You know who Pat and Jen are? He watches these shows on YouTube where people are playing like video games. Okay. And he'll be watching this show, and then all of a sudden my older son will come and let's say he changes it. My younger son will go, Ethan changed it. Why do you have to change it? And he's crying hysterical. Now, why is he crying hysterical? Ethan changed it. Why can't you say, Ethan, I was watching that. Okay. Give me that control back. Go over there. You want to watch something else? Go to the other one. Boom. And just go back and realize that. Okay. But the thing is, the reason why he's freaking out is because he's so zoomed in on this one thing that's right in front of him that happened, which is I was watching this. I really want to watch it. And Ethan took it away from me. And he doesn't see anything beyond that. He's so zoomed in and it's devastating to him. Right? Okay.
Is you got to get control out of the situation and fix it instead of being reacting it.
Okay, exactly. Now, so he's almost coming up on 5 years old, right? And so as he gets older, he'll naturally realize with the experience of life, with maturity, with the development of his brain, he'll realize that the world gets bigger and bigger. And then he'll start to understand time, and that time, gives you space to deal with problems. And that if you have a problem right now, it may feel like a problem right now, but it might not be a problem in the future because you'll probably figure out some solution for it, because you're not going to sit still and just suffer inside of a problem forever. You're going to do something about it. And so when you realize that there's solutions for most problems, and if you don't have a solution for it, you can figure out some other way to go or something to do. There's always some sort of a resolution that you can make, right? For everything that happens. Yeah, even if you lose your leg, you lose your leg. You lose your leg. Eventually, you learn to live without a leg. You live with a prosthetic leg, and do things for exercise, for example, if that's really important to you, that you can do with a prosthetic leg. Okay, and so he doesn't know that now, but as he grows, he'll zoom out and he'll see a bigger picture. So to me, controlling your emotions and be learning to be peaceful. No matter what's happening in your business or around you, a lot of times part of it is like the physical, like just taking the breaths and calming and grounding yourself. And then part of it is also seeing the bigger picture. And so you may need to calm yourself in order to see the bigger picture, right?
Yes, because if you don't calm, there's no picture there.
There's no perspective, right? Like you see red.
Or dark. There's no light.
Right.
There you go. That's the word for it. There's no light. You got to find the light. You got to find the light.
Yes, exactly. So to come back to success, right? I think I don't know if you can relate to this, and I think you're more feelings oriented. And I think women tend to be more feelings oriented and men are more cerebral, like more
actions.
What's that?
More actions.
Yeah, like action oriented but living up here, less here and more up here. And so I think I've spent
why are you trying to say that we're more like we're the crybabies? You're more like the smarter ones.
You say crybabies. Nobody said crybabies.
Okay, gotcha.
Women. I think women tend to be more feelings oriented, and men tend to be more thought oriented, right?
Yes, true.
Okay?
Very true.
even if even if you think a lot, like women are much more in tune with their emotions and how they feel. And so a lot of your description of what success means to you is feelings oriented.
Yes.
Right. My description of what success means to me is like, it's technical. I have a spreadsheet. I have boxes. I've categorized the different areas of my life. You know what I mean? It's like, it's cerebral. But the interesting thing is, as we become successful in the real world, right? Take the emotion out of it for a moment. And let's say we're not bringing in the emotional experience as a part of the definition of success. And we're just kind of talking about success in terms of accomplishments and achievements and those plaques that are on your wall, or those awards that are on your wall behind you, right? Or the 6-digit club achievement that's on your wall. And how much money you're making, and how much staff do you have, and these sorts of things. What's interesting is, the more successful you become, it's a slippery slope because it's a moving target. I was talking with my brother-in-law just the other day, and I was asking him, how do you define success? And he was defining success with several things that are like outside of himself, like external to himself. Things that if he were to achieve them, if he were to have them, if he were to acquire them, he would be successful. And I said that's interesting, because as you keep going in your life and you start to achieve success and you become a little bit more mature and you have money, for example, and let's say you get a house. Now you were renting before, now you have a house. All of a sudden you adjust your expectations because you're looking at other people who have houses, other people who are making money, and you start noticing, wow, that person has a much cooler house than I do. That person's got a much bigger house. That person's got a house on the water. That person's got a loft in their house. That person's got a pool. And so all of a sudden we start adjusting, and we don't even realize it. It's like it creeps up on us. And all of a sudden, we're not even paying attention, but we've moved the goalposts. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression, like the goalposts, like here's the goal. And if you kick the ball through the goal, you scored. But what if I just move the goal back? Now what if I move the goal back again? And I'm moving the goalposts. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you thought you crossed the finish line and you're good, but I just moved the finish line.
You didn't cross. I mean, you didn't do it. You're just trying to be more, to cut the time instead of trying to reach it. You're just pulling it back towards you.
Right. I mean, no, I'm talking about, I'm pulling it away from you. What I really mean is like,
you.
Yeah, like you're pushing it away from yourself because you're looking at the one who has a pool now and the one who has the waterfront property. And now you're making a goal that's further out of reach again. You got the house that you wanted, but now, oh my God, there's that house over there that I want and I can't reach it. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So whereas now you have goals, let's say today in 2019, that you would use to define what success means to you. But now once perhaps you achieve those goals, now all of a sudden, especially with Alba's personality, you're going to keep leveling up and leveling up and leveling up.
It's like, for me, it's like you don't have a plan A and B. For me, you have to go all the alphabetical order. What are you going to bring to the table again? Like, I don't I don't get comfortable with one thing. If, like I said, when you try to have a business, okay, you do teeth whitening, you do microblading. Okay, if a microblading gets too busy, it's a lot of competition out there. For example, microblading and eyelashes. Okay, if you don't get too busy with microblading, you get busy with eyelashes. If you don't get busy to eyelashes, you're gonna get busy with teeth whitening. So you gotta find another theory to actually bring another service. If you don't get busy with this, you still bring the flow. That's not a person. I cannot stay still. Like for me, 2019, my new goal is to bring a new service. Okay, that new service, I know it's gonna kick in. Okay, and then with achieving the level that I wanted to be as a microblader, finally what I got in my Royal, I have noticed I'm bringing more clientele. Why? Because my work is standing out better. So that's one of my success that I got. Like, oh, I did it. After waiting 2 years, that is one of the success that I got. I'm like, yeah, I finally did it. So I did not give up. So that is one of the things that I want to say, that do not give up. keep finding your route. Keep finding it. Can look for it. If you don't look for it.
But time out. Hold on one second. If you say don't give up, don't quit, I agree with all of that, and you're very powerful with that. Very, very powerful. But what I wanted to make this conversation about is, what are you aiming for? I think your guide for what you're aiming for is an internal guide. It has to do with how you feel, because I feel like the external stuff, like building your business and continuing to try to reach new goals and to achieve new things and to introduce new services and keep leveling up, I think that's automatically inside you, Alba. That may not be for everybody, but that's definitely automatically inside of Alba. That's almost like, well, I just want to make this point. I think that's almost like, I say automatic for you, because you don't even have to like push yourself to do that. That comes automatically with your who you are. It's like those are the stripes on the zebra, and Alba's a zebra.
Let's call it. I have like every time that I reach 5 years.
Yes,
there's a new goal that I have. Every 5 years, I have a goal. Mm-hmm. So I gotta be successful to that point. Like my new goals, like I have to reach my 5-year goal. And my 5-year goal is still, it started in 2019 until 5 years. Mm-hmm. So, and.
Oh, because you just achieved your 5-year goal?
I really did last year.
What was it?
Now I'm achieving another 5-year goal. Every 5 years, I'm achieving something different.
Do you mind sharing with us what your goal was?
Okay, so I'm 36 right now. So when I was 31, I was a dental assistant, right? So I wake up one morning and say, okay, I got to achieve 5-year goal. And I cannot be it on the place that I am right now, living check by check, especially a single mother, and you cannot make the bills, so you cannot go, vacation because you don't have no money. Okay. So the only money that I have on my bank was the income tax money, they give you when you have a child, So I have my only $5,000 at the bank. I wasted $2,000 for that rent. I'm like, okay, I gotta look something to actually achieve 5 years. I want to have a business. So my only $3,000 that I have on my bank, which I didn't have, the only one that I can survive for the next year or so, I used it to provide myself to start a business. It was teeth whitening. Mm-hmm. So during the 5 years, before I hit the 4 years, I said, okay, I need to finish my goal with a business during the 5 years, a house, and my dream car. So
what's your dream car?
My dream car? A BMW.
Ooh, so, what kind of BMW?
3 Series.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when I was the first year, I achieved the business of teeth whitening. I was doing part-time. And I'm like, okay, I need to have my own locations and all that stuff. So I started working with a friend of mine, and then I ended up having my own suite. Okay. And I'm like, okay, that was the second year. I'm like, okay, I found microblading. And I was like, oh my, let me try this microblading. So when I reached microblading, I'm like, okay, my third year, I gotta have my other location. So I have 2 locations on my second year. So then I get, okay, but I'm always about to reach my 5 years. I gotta have my house. So my credit was bad. FYI, I had a horrible credit. So the money was coming in with the microblading and the teeth whitening. And I'm like, okay, that's my third year now. I'm making the money. Now let me fix my credit. So I fixed my credit. That was my goal. Fix my credit, a business, my house, and the BMW. That was all my goals within 5 years. So I buy my house the 4th year. The 5th year was going to be almost on my birthday time. Okay. So when I hit 35, I'm like, okay, I got to have my dream car. I don't need a car, but I already have a car that I barely bought a year ago before. But it wasn't my dream car. But, I have learned in the past after I bought my car, don't buy things that you want. Only what you need, not what you want. It's 2 different things. But, when you work hard, you got to spoil yourself. So the 4th year, I ended up buying my house. So I bought a big house with the pool. My daughter wanted a pool, so I bought it. It was the big accomplishment I ever made in my life. Okay. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, my birthday's already coming up. And I turned my 5 years a week before my birthday. And I'm like, I have to get it done before my birthday because I had accomplished my 5 years. I'm those kind of girls that I have to do it within the 5 years, not later than 5 years, because that means I didn't achieve my goal. Mm-hmm. So when I turned my birthday, right there on my birthday, the day of my birthday, November the 3rd, I went to the dealership and I said, dang it, I'm going to buy a new car. My mom's going to just go mad at me, but I'm going to just get it. I went there and I got it. Even I didn't need a new car, but I got it. And then it felt so good, Glenn. Oh my God, you don't have an idea. It felt so good because I have put 5-year goal. Okay. And I have another 5-year goal for this within the 5 years now.
Oh, you got to tell us what the next 5 years goal is.
That's more personal, but my 5-year goal. Okay, y'all know I'm a single mom. I've been divorced for 8 years now. So I'm like, my 5-year goals within that years, I got to find me a husband and have a new baby. But that's not the only thing, though. That's one of the things. But within 5 years, I actually, I think I want to start teaching. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And then I was thinking a lot to be part of something that I think I wasn't comfortable, but now I think I am, just because I have accomplished to be the next level that I want to be in microblading. Mm-hmm. And I think have motivated me to actually I can do it, because I mean, I can say I wasn't good at being patient, but I think I can just overcome that. To be over patient about teaching. I was a little off about it, but I don't know yet.
To be what?
I was a little bit impatient about teaching, because I think the girls, oh my God, how can you do with this? How can you handle with all the students? Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking my mentality lately is just being so completely different. Like my point to this, every time they accomplish something, my mentality just changes, which means to the better view of I can be. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So my 5-year is actually get a bigger building, get more people to work under me, of course. But also I've been wanted to open a surgical medical spa. That mm-hmm. is my 5 years goal. But we'll see. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just either that or either not an academy, because I want to still be part of something bigger like yours, because I love y'all or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the best mentor, Claire, oh my God, when I met her, oh my God, there's no words for her. She's a sweetheart. And Leslie, not to say, and the other girls. But I have learned so much, which means the past 5 years I have learned being successful is learning how to take care of business and how to keep up the business going. That's I think that big achievement I have done in being a successful woman. Mm-hmm. And I freaking love it. I love it. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility, not a headache, a lot of stress, but you know what? It pays for all the stuff that you want to get in life, not only for yourself, but build an empire for you and for your kids. That's what I'm looking for. Build an empire for myself, for my daughter, and just keep going and not to stop, because once you stop, there's no turning back.
It's interesting. You set this goal for yourself for 5 years, and it organized your effort. It organized your thoughts. It helped you focus yourself. Focus is such an important part of achieving the things that you want in your life. And I think it's very important for whoever's watching this to spend some time thinking about, what does success mean to you? What does it mean to you? Can you just define it in general, at least for yourself? What does it mean to be successful? And then ask yourself, how would you know if you're experiencing success? If you're being successful, how would you know? And if the answer to that question is, I'll be successful when something happens, that's not a good definition, because that such and such thing may or may never happen. It may or may never happen. But if you can set a goal for yourself, setting a goal for yourself is, I think, very important, especially for people like us, people who are interested in this conversation. Your chances are, if you're watching this conversation, you're like a goal-oriented person. If you're pursuing a career in microblading and permanent makeup, you're a goal-oriented person. You're trying to achieve something. You want to move your life forward, right? So you're not just sitting back and accepting your life as it is.
Yes. Yeah. Just do it. Don't just put words in your head and you're like, I'm going to do this. Just don't think about it. Just go for it. You know what? If you don't try it, I mean, how can you find out if you did it or not? I mean, don't go with the if, just go for it. That's one thing I try to teach my daughter. She says she wants to be a lawyer. I said, becoming a lawyer, it takes a lot of things. Like, you cannot have bad problems in school. You have to have good grades. You have to put your mind to study all the time. But if you don't study, how are you going to get good grades? You got to put your mind to it. Just go for it. I mean, nobody's going to do it besides yourself. I mean, I can just tell you what to do here, but the one who's actually been taking the risk is you, not me. Like for me, I took my risk to have what I have. And thank God I have the mentality that I'm going and going and going nonstop. I mean, it's just very important. Successful is when you feel that you're successful, it's because you have achieved those goals. Whereas you achieve those goals, it's the best feeling you can ever have.
And while you're trying to achieve those goals, you're being successful. Yes. That's part of my point, is that if you don't achieve the goal, or you don't achieve the goal the first time or within the time frame that you had thought, let's say it took Alba, 6 years or 7 years to achieve her goal. Yeah, I suspect, she used that time frame to compress herself and to pressure herself to move forward. And that's how obviously she motivates herself and focuses herself. And I do things similar to that. But that may not be the person who's watching this. That may not be comfortable for them. They might work differently and find motivation differently. But the point is that if you set a goal for yourself and you're honestly putting your best effort, trying your best to achieve that goal, whether you achieve the goal or not, you're being successful. And like Alba, I would judge myself a lot throughout my whole life. I would judge myself based on this external measure of whether I'm achieving my goals or not, to determine whether I'm successful or not. And I've realized over time that that's not right. That's not right. If I'm working my butt off and I'm really trying hard, I'm really giving it my best, and I care about what I'm doing, and I still don't achieve my goal, was I not successful? I would say that I was successful in giving it my best. I was successful in an honorable effort, in an honorable effort. Like I really gave it my best. And so maybe life is trying to tell me that this is not the direction it wants me to go. And, it's like I'm floating through a river and I hit a rock. So I need to go around it and find a different path. And maybe And maybe that different path, maybe it's not microblading. Maybe it's, architecture or photography or whatever it is. But, I gave it my best. And so so that's the idea when I was talking about my son, who is so zoomed in. Like if you're really zoomed in and you're not getting out of this what you're trying to get out of it, and you're getting very angry and upset and you're feeling like you're not successful, if you're genuinely trying your best, there's nothing to be upset about, because if you zoom out and you realize that within the next few years, that effort that you put to try to achieve the success, whether it's whether it's in the microblading business or it's another business, whatever it is, if you put your best effort and either it went well for you eventually, or if it didn't and you decided, you know what, okay, I gave it my best and I decided to go in a different direction, try something else, then it was productive in that way, in a larger perspective. Like if you go 10 years ahead in your life and you keep putting effort to try to be successful and to try to find what is the right fit for you, if this right here, right now, in this real zoomed in picture is not the thing for you, you don't know that yet. You may not know it yet.
Yeah. May I say something really quick, like a good example? That's a very good example what you're saying, and then just got my attention. I being a member of an artist on Phil Brow for close to 3 years. I think.
I'm sorry, a member of what? I didn't hear you.
Of the academy, microblading field brow.
Mm-hmm.
I took my course with Branko. Okay, and that was in 2016. Yes, in October 2016, and I graduated on November 2016. Okay, so I've been wanting to be royal for, oh my goodness, since then. And yes, you feel like, what's going on? Why am I getting approved? I keep submitting my pictures, and then, it will frustrating. But guess what? I keep trying and trying. I don't know how many times I submitted my work and just deny. You know what? I keep trying. And finally, guess what? I got it. Why? Because I kept trying and trying and trying, and I didn't never give up.
Okay, so time out. Hold on. Let me use what you're saying here. So if you zoom in on any one of those moments along those 2.5 years when you were trying and trying and trying and not getting it, where you might have felt frustration like, God, I feel so unsuccessful at this moment. I feel so unsuccessful. This is not working. I'm not experiencing success. If you were to simply, if someone were to whisper in your ear that, hey, 2 years from now, you're going to have it, then you would
I had that mentally.
You'd have a totally different perspective on the experience of that rejection, because you'd realize that rejection was motivation to keep trying and keep practicing until you finally get it. It puts things in perspective. And this is the consistent theme that's going through this conversation, which is to zoom out and see a bigger picture. But look, Alba, you made it. You made it to your goal to be a royal artist. Not everybody will. And maybe they're meant to be, and maybe they're not meant to be. And just because you're trying to do something and it doesn't necessarily work, this is my point of the whole conversation, okay? It's half of my point of the whole conversation. I'm going to tell you the other half in a second. One half of the point of my conversation here is that if you don't achieve what it is that you're setting out to do, it does not mean that you're unsuccessful, okay? It does not mean that.
Yes, it doesn't
mean. If you're trying your hardest, if you're giving it your all, like Alba says, like fully committing to it with all of your being, like really doing it as much as you can, and being your own cheerleader, and no one's going to do it for you, and you put yourself there, you put yourself on the line, you have something to be very proud of. You should be proud of yourself, whether you made it or not, right? Okay. Yes,
because you had tried and you put your work on it. And you feel like, okay, you feel more calm. Okay, this is not for me. It's fine. It's not necessary to feel that you were unsuccessful, because you were, because actually you keep trying. And when you keep trying, you keep working at it. When you're getting something out of it. You're getting something out of it. And that thing that you're getting out of it may very well be you're accelerating to the point that you're going to figure out that this is not for you. And maybe that is productive, so that you could then finally make the decision to move on to something else. It's productive in the larger scheme of things. But Albert, the second half of my point of this conversation is, a lot of times we don't think about what it is that we want, what it is that's important to us. What do we really care about? What is really meaningful to us? Because if we don't spend time thinking about those things, and we just put effort into whatever happens to be right in front of us, what tends to happen is, if you don't decide where you want your life to go, life will decide where it's going to go without you. Life will make that decision for you. And then what you're going to end up doing is you're playing defense. You're playing defense, like you're just hitting these things away from you. Responsibilities are coming at you. Let me deal with this responsibility. Oh, here comes another responsibility. Let me get rid of this one. Oh God, here comes another responsibility. I'm playing defense. I'm trying not to let these expenses hit me and take me down, right? But if instead you just spend some time thinking about what success means to you. What does success mean to you? What is it that you want? If you spend some time thinking about it and you define it, and a helpful way of doing this would be to say, how do I know if I'm being successful in any area of your life? In my business, how do I know if I'm being successful? How do I know if in my family life I'm being, you have to define it in a way that's measurable to some extent, that the feedback will tell you, your emotional state will tell you, your finances will tell you, something will tell you that you're being successful, that you're going in the right direction. So my point is, you decide
what it is that you want and make that decision based on what's important to you, what you care about, what's meaningful to you. If you make that decision, if you write it out, you don't have to write it out the way that I wrote it. I made it like a spreadsheet. Some of you might be watching this and think, Glenn, you are so ridiculous. You actually make a spreadsheet out of like what's important to you in your life. Like, what kind of a loser does that? Okay. You might be thinking that.
No, it's not.
You might be thinking like that.
Actually, it's a very good example though, because you put in that example that actually it gives others a brainstorm about what is the meaning of that. And they'll be like, oh, I get it. Okay. When you asked me in the beginning, what is success for you? I was blank for a second. I didn't know what to say. But when you put in the terms of your examples of what it is, okay, and you just turn the switch on your head. I'm like, okay, I got it now. This
Alba, yeah, you know what? This is the way my brain works. It may not be the way your brain works or someone who's watching how their brain works, but it happens to be the way that my brain works and it connects with me. And so I want to try to make conscious decisions in my life about what I'm doing and why. I want to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why am I doing this podcast? This podcast is important to me. It's important to me because it's a space for me for a couple of things. One of the things is obviously it makes I think, and I've heard this feedback from a lot of our students, a lot of our audience, that it helps them, that it makes an impact on them, that it gets them thinking, that we've made, like, we're going to make another podcast pretty soon about me coaching another relatively new artist. And like, I talked with her and I saw like things that she needs to do. And I said, you know what, hold on, before I tell you all about this, let's do it on a podcast. So it makes an impact. Another reason why I'm doing this is because obviously it grows our business. And then another reason why I'm doing it, Alba, you want to know why? It's for my own, I'm doing it for you, Alba. I'm doing it for you.
Yes, you give good messages. The messages is very important for everybody to listen.
But it's also good for me. For me, it's a selfish reason, Alba. It's for me.
Because you're helping people.
But listen to this. It's like a space for me for creative expression. Okay, there's a couple of things like all throughout my life. I will believe it or not. I do a lot of like spreadsheets and things like this. But believe it or not, I'm a very creative person. Creativity is something that's very important to me. And experiencing my own creativity. Like, for example, watch this. I'm going to show you something that I've never shown anybody in this microblading world. Like, look at this. Look at this. Over here under artistic creative expression, you see it says jujitsu, podcast, and dancing. When I met my wife, I met her dancing. I was dancing. Oh, really? I swear to God, you may not know this about me, but I was dancing 5 days a week. 5 days a week.
Wow.
Okay. My wife was also dancing many days per week, and we ended up meeting dancing. And so I put that in there because part of what helps me to experience success is doing these three things, which are fulfilling to me. So let me, here, look, I'll show you. Look, check this out. Watch this. I don't know if did I ever tell you about this? Like,
no, I'm interested to watch. Put a video actually, so everybody can watch your dancing.
Here, wait.
Is it all you or what?
Well, a bunch of them are me, but
okay, we need to see a video of you then.
There's one. Here's us dancing where's the one that we're dancing salsa? Hold on a minute. Salsa was the first dance that I really got into.
Were you dancing with your wife?
Yeah, I'm going to find it. I'm trying to find where it is. Here, like this. So what I'm going to show you is something that I do that's really fulfilling to me. And honestly, if a lot of time goes by and I don't do one of these creative things like dancing or jujitsu or now the podcast, if I spend a long time and I don't do it, doesn't feel good to me. And I need it to feel successful, to experience success.
Oh, wow. You got some move. You and your wife.
But like, so that was something that I was doing a lot back then. And it was really fulfilling to me. But, you know, life moves on. I had kids. I had one kid, then I had another kid. And then, you know, you got a dog at home. You got responsibilities. You got a business. You got just a million things. And it's hard to do these things. So I think it's really important for us to spend time thinking about what is it that fulfills us, what is important to us, and how do we define success for ourselves? And then let's make sure that the things that we're spending our time on every week touch each of those areas that create and provide that fulfillment. If you're working on something that's going to bring you toward the lifestyle that you want or whatever it is, the 5-year goal that you have, be clear about why you're doing it. And if you know why you're doing it, it's going to make all the difference in the world. Otherwise, life is just going to decide what's important for you by itself without you.
True. You got to make your own destiny.
Boom! On that note, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this podcast, if this was helpful for you in any way, like this post, share it, and please leave a comment. What does success mean to you? What's something that when you're doing it or when you're experiencing it, something that you're working on that's really fulfilling to you, and you know for sure it's meaningful, this is important, this is what I'm supposed to do, and I know I'm successful because I just feel it inside. I'm clear on that. Leave us a comment and follow Alba at Smile for Life Spa. Yes, Smile for Life Spa. On Instagram. You can follow us at Microblading Academy USA. I'm Glenn. That's Alba. And we are out of here.
Bye-bye.
Adios, guys. See ya.
Yes.
Catch you on the next one.